On their website, there is some written explanations as how to shuck an oyster along with some photography, but I want to add a video to it also so you can get a sense of what really happens. This is hard to describe. Again, you start with oysters. I like to keep them on ice if I can at all times. And then sometimes it might be a safeguard to use a light cloth or a towel to hold the oyster in place and maybe hold it on the other side. Some people do open oysters from the front side over here if you can find the right hatch to get in there. I've always found it tricky to find a place to lodge the shucking knife into. Shucking knives come in different sizes. Some have very sharp tips, some have shorter handles. There can even be a little bit of an edge here, so you kind of have to pick and choose what feels good in your hand. Ultimately, with the oyster opening, the tool is great, the holding of the oyster with the opposite hand, but the work is in the wrist. It's really in the wrist and getting into that what I think is the best pocket. You know, you can see how far the tip of the knife goes in there to the oyster, where you get some leverage in that little nook on the back side of the oyster. So you find a space in there that you can get a little bit of leverage, and you keep driving it in. And see, the work is in the wrist. I'm holding the oyster pretty firm. I'm pushing a little bit, but I don't want to apply too much pressure. I really want to slowly just find my way in there and then get into that hatch so I can open the oyster up. And then that's where the accident sometimes happens, is you drive through because there's so much force back here, and I've done it a few times myself, that it goes through into the hand or the finger. So you want to be careful. The other thing you want to be careful of once you've created the opening is not to go down deep to dig the oyster, because remember, it's attached to the top shell here, so you carefully kind of scrape it off if you can so it drops down into the shell that it'll be served in if you're serving it raw. And then so you've taken that away clean, and then you have your oyster in here, and then you might want to scrape it away, and then you loosen it from the inside. If you're going to serve them on the half shell, loosen it from the inside right there, and then the oyster's ready to be put back on the ice, and then you move on to the next one. So we'll demonstrate that one more time. It's a little different hinge this time. I don't have quite as much room. You can see the knife doesn't go quite as far in, so I'm a little higher on this one as opposed to low. So you kind of have to figure where you get your best leverage. And again, twist, 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 not too firm. Take it off. There you go. Release the muscle from the bottom shell and take out any debris or leftover shell that might be in there and scrape it out. And the oyster goes back on the ice. And you're ready to serve them with a mignonette sauce, or you're ready to maybe steam them or take them out and serve them in a stew or whatever your liking may be.